Welcome back, guys, to Before the Rise podcast with Bros. This week has been one heck of a week for me. I've thought of a lot of things that I wanted to share with you guys, and some of those things have been the fact of how much we let judgment inflict pain upon us. What I mean by that is that I worked in a corporate office not too long ago, and in this corporate office, what I was working in, I'm not going to name names for you guys so you don't think, or bash them or anything like that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But this place I was working, I learned a lot about myself, guys. I learned a lot about how much my confidence diminished because of what people thought and saw me as because of how much money I was making. It was simple as that. How much money I was making was determining how much I'm worth. And that deteriorated my mental health, that deteriorated who I am. And as a man, we don't have the luxury of always being emotional, but that doesn't negate the fact that you should be emotional. I'm not saying a man should not be emotional. A man should be emotional and understand and hone those senses, but not act upon being emotional. And what I mean by that is if you're angry or mad or sad, don't act upon it. Just relax, calm down, and then take it in and then act upon it. Nevertheless, I thought about a lot of things throughout the time that I was in this previous job of mine and how much money factored into who I was and my worth. There was people that did not have an ounce of moral respect or even the decency of just humanitarian rights in the sense of like believing in not deteriorating someone's mind and killing their confidence. Just horrible people you work with or you see, and it honestly takes a toll on you. And that's what happened to me. It took a toll on me. I noticed how much I started to believe that I was worthless. I was like, you know what? I am worth nothing. I'm worthless because I have no money. That's what I thought of, guys. And I bring this up to you guys because a lot of us are probably facing financial, difficulties. And when we're in our lows, and I say this to you guys, and I hope you guys really take this with a grain of salt. When we're in our lows, what we do determines how and what we are. And what I mean by that is when you face a death, when you face a loss, when you face poverty, hunger, whatever it is, and you act upon that loss or that test that's given to you by God or whatever you want to say, you are showing your true character. If you're a good person, you will make good action moves. If you're a bad person, you will show quickly. Just like when someone's bad or good, when they get really wealthy, they change and they show who they truly were. So, determine your friends, determine your loved ones, and who you are around based off their lows. This is very, very anti-social norm that you guys might see where people go, don't judge someone when they're in their lows because they'll make mistakes. But I, in fact, say judge them when they're in their lows because it shows who their true character are. When you're pushed down and the thumb is on you, like a thumbtack is getting pushed down on a wall or whatever, and you feel that pressure, if you crack under that pressure, that shows who you are. That always shows who you are. Don't judge someone based off how they are when their life is good. When life is good, you're not gonna try to make mistakes. I'm sure you guys all have heard the saying, "If it ain't broke, don't go fixing it." If it's fine, why would you go fix it, right? You're gonna do the right thing all the time. But when something is broken and you're trying to fix it, determine your friends, determine who you marry, determine who your partners are in business, determine who your surrounding is based off what they've done when they're on their lows. I've met a lot of people that say, don't judge me on my lows. I met many, many, many people that have drank when they're on their lows and became alcoholics, that have gambled when they're on their lows and they became, just extremely addictive to that. Addictive to gambling when they have done adultery or when they have done fornication, things like that, slept around with people, when they have abandoned the good people around their lives, all what? Because in their lows. No. That's when you see that person for who they truly are. Because if that person even has an ounce of respect for themselves and everyone around them, they're not going to do something that will, just tear apart everything around them. You don't need to deteriorate the life and the world around you because the world may be deteriorating you. You don't need to kill everyone around you and everything around you because you might feel like you're getting killed yourself. That's where the difference between someone that is a positive and optimistic person comes and a pessimistic and a negative person comes. When difficulty and calamity strikes, are you going to be a positive person or are you going to be negative? And it shows very quickly because the positive people sit down, they let the emotions go through them, they feel the difficulty, and they go, what can I do to become better? How can I try to make myself see the better in this? And when they're negative, you will quickly snap. You'll figure out who that person is relatively fast. Because guess what they're gonna resort to the wrong things in life. They're gonna resort to the bad things in life. Now I'm not saying that you should discredit everybody and forget everybody when they're in their lows. Some people genuinely make a mistake that they weren't aware of. For example, they might have quit a job because they were in so much pain with whatever life has thrown at them, and they face a little bit of, maybe home issues, or they may face something pertaining that. It's just because they took the decision to leave their job and they didn't know what the effect would have been, but they knew that, hey, you know what, I'll find another job, and they just couldn't find it. That's a low, but they made a decision that was for their being to, live and to be okay. But not a person that, goes through calamity and then leaves the job, becomes an alcoholic, becomes a person that hurts other people's hearts, becomes a person that that makes a difference in the world in a bad way. And then you go, oh, it's okay. We're going to chalk it up to the fact that they were just facing a difficulty. Hell no. Hell no. That's not okay. It's not okay to let someone just do whatever they want because they faced hardships. I'll give you guys an example. By the way, I ate right now like 15 minutes ago, and I've ate so much food, and I realized I gotta not podcast after I eat. But anyways, I'll give you guys an example. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and this man, if you guys don't believe in Islam, it's fine. You don't need to believe in Islam to understand history. Just read about his life. He's faced so much exoneration. He's been abandoned. He's been hurt. He was an orphan. He's been just completely scrutinized. He's been absolutely hurt by everybody that was around him in ways that, that you can't even believe. And I'm not talking about the people that support him. I'm talking about the non-believers, the Muslims, like that weren't Muslims, the non-Muslims. How much they hurt him. It's beyond this podcast. It's beyond a 15-minute video. It's so deep that if I were to tell you the story, you yourself would feel so much pain in your heart. Just human to another human. You don't even have to believe in the faith to know that this is wrong and what had happened to him was wrong. But guess what? During those times of lows is when he became a better man. Now let's fast forward in time. Let's go towards more the 21st century. Look at your mom and dad. Look at your uncles, your aunts. Look at your brothers and sisters. Look at the people around you. What are they doing when they face their hardships? Look at the people that you idolize, the role models that you look at and you go, hey, I want to be like them. Whether it's a girl or a guy, whether they're a billionaire or poor, whatever it is, or they're intellectual or not. What are they doing and what have they done in their lows? I can guarantee you this, that in their lows, those people did the right thing, and that's why they are where they are now. Because they made the right decisions that affected their lives in a better manner. Now, you may be wondering, well, bros, what is that decision? What is that decision that I make when I'm in my lows? When my mom dies, well, how do I act? How you act is you use that energy, you harness it, and you become a better person. You use that sadness, and you now do what? You don't take anyone else for granted in your life. We forget how much when we lose someone, it hurts until we lose them. When we lose them, then we go, oh, wow, this really, really hurts. So like I said, when you lose someone, all right, so let's say you face death. Harness that energy. Go appreciate the people you have. Now give back to the people that you've been neglecting because of your life goals or whatever you want to do. Now let's say you face financial difficulties. I faced financial difficulties a lot of my life. I faced financial difficulties probably more than a majority of people that are listening to this podcast. What am I going to do? If I'm in debt and I'm in sadness or if whatever it may be and I'm feeling like I'm going through poverty, I'm going to budget out. I will think about what the goodness in my life is and still be grateful and then act upon the things that I do have a chance to act upon. Meaning that if I'm making $15 from this, area of my expertise, or if I'm making $20 from this other job or this or whatever, maybe bring it all together and see how can I stretch this out to the thinnest form that I can. See, there's optimistic thinkers like that. Then there's pessimistic going, oh, I'm in debt. My income ratio is too low than my debt. Oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to die. I'm going to quit. I'm going to do bankruptcy. I'm going to screw all this. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You And your actions when you're in your lows is determining who you are when you're high. I'm going to keep saying this in this podcast because a lot of people are forgetting that. A lot of people are so sensitive to the fact that you need to be judged a little bit. You need to realize that, hey, if 15, 20, 30 people are telling me that I'm doing something wrong, and I know innately in my heart, because we know what's right and wrong. We can't sit out here and be like, we don't know what's right and wrong. If I know innately I'm doing something wrong and then I'm doing it and then blaming others for my actions or blaming my experience or the calamity that comes towards me for that action, then you are nothing to be worthy of praise. You are nothing. You are absolutely nothing. But if you do the complete opposite, then you are someone that is not only a great person, but is a person that people should aspire to be like. Life, and I've been told this by a lot of people, I see life as very yes and no, very black and white. There's color to it, don't get me wrong, but there's some definitive things that you need to know. And that is things like either you're a strong person or you're weak. There's no middle ground for that. Either you're yes or no. I'm not a man that's a maybe guy. I'm not a maybe guy with anything I do. I don't go, maybe, yeah, we could do this. Yeah, maybe we could do it. It's either yes or no. My no's are no's, my yeses are yeses. And that's something that I believe not a lot of us do. We don't follow that. And we don't want to follow that. For us, we're like, you know what? Let's just go with what the crowd says. Let's just follow with whatever we're given and what people feel like and act upon it like that. Life is very yes and no. And if you're sitting here across me and you're hearing this podcast or you're driving or whatever it may be, and you think it's otherwise, and you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Life is colorful, don't get me wrong, but it's a very yes and no thing. If you see life as a wishy-washy thing, you're a wishy-washy person. You're a weak person. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't be weak. You know, you can have moments of vulnerability, insecurity, but that doesn't mean you're a weak person. That just means you're fixing that patch that you need to fix and you're healing. But a weak person is a weak mindset that sits and just constantly nags. That's a weak person. A weak person that is just finding an excuse for their actions and trying to blame others for it. So, not to get too far from the conversation, like I said, you might face death, you might face poverty, you might face heartbreak. A lot of us, and I'm telling you this, I've seen this with a lot of women in general, and I know they may get mad. When they face heartbreak, guess what? They go act upon it with the next 15, 20 people that they are on their, DMs and going, all right, let me hit everyone else up. Or let me break their hearts. Let me get vengeance. Same with a guy. I was like that. When I went through my difficulties in life, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just hurt every girl that I could possibly get. And I don't mean them physically, or I don't mean them in their have intimate relationships and drop them, because I never did that. And no one can ever say I did. And I have, full conviction of that myself, and I know who I am. But I mean like hurt them emotionally, like be like, oh yeah, I don't care about you. Like you're worthless. And I realize how much, because I let someone else take effect of who I believe I am and what I see other females as, it deteriorated my social interaction with people. When I let go of that is when I got blessed with life. I got blessed with people in my life that made my, surroundings, my happiness, my peace come back to me. And why? Because I stopped letting others affect my actions. So that's what I'm saying is in our heartbreak time, especially now where we face a lot of times in men in general and in women in general, both of them, we face times where we're broken and we're heartbroken in particular. We let that determine our cycle of abuse. And what I say and what I mean by this, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, is that when a good guy gets his heart broken, he becomes a bad guy. He breaks a bad or a good girl's heart, and then that girl becomes a bad girl, and she breaks the good guy's heart, and it's just a cycle. You got to break that cycle. That's the point I'm trying to make. Break that cycle. You don't need to continue that cycle. I was even partaking in that cycle for a certain amount of time, maybe a short amount of time, maybe a month or two, but I realized, hey, what am I doing? I'm losing my morals. Who am I? Why am I letting some random little bimbo affect me on who I am and how I see women? When I let go of that, I got blessed with the most beautiful thing in the world and the most beautiful person in the world. And she could even be a testament to that. So I say this to all of you because when you're going through heartbreak, please, please, please take that, harness that energy, go better yourself. Do not take it out on anyone else. When you take that out on someone else, I promise you it will come back. Mathematically, if you don't even believe in God, karma is real. It will come back to you, and it will taunt you, and it will haunt you. And guess what will happen? There will be a day where you will regret that and say, damn, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I was a good person. I wish I had just done the right thing, and I didn't hurt someone's heart. I just did the right thing, and I was a better person. And when you learn how to do that, guess what? When you learn how to become a better person in your low, you innately will be coming on a whole new level. You'll be coming on stepping up on a whole new level. You'll become someone that you've never even dreamed of becoming. That's the whole point I'm making. When you're in your lows, guys and girls, please don't make a hasteful decision. I always have said this. Don't make a promise when you're in love and when you're in happy mode, whatever they call it, right? Because that promise get broken. Don't make a hasteful decision when you're angry or sad. And why I say this is because when we're angry, we make a hasteful decision and we regret it later. Majority of the time we do. And when we're sad, we make a decision and we hate it later and we regret it. The same saying goes as, don't go shopping for food when you're hungry because you're going to make a mistake. So with that being said, guys, take that in consideration. Really think about, in your lows, who are you? Because you will face lows. This is not the first and last time. And the people that you get around you, see in their lows, who are they? Who were they? Were they good or bad? Did they try to become better? Did they put a conscious effort to be a better person? And if they did, then that's all that matters. Especially when you guys are going through heartbreak, really, really, really think about that. Am I a good person throughout that heartbreak? Was that girl or guy that I'm trying to be with a good person throughout their heartbreak? Or did they go sleep around with everyone and then use that as an excuse basically to be like, I just needed to get out of my system? Don't settle for less, guys. Become better. Be with someone that's worthy of your praise. Be someone that's worthy of your time. Be someone, and not just with somebody, but be someone that everyone can aspire to look up to. Because when you do that, you not only have made your life better, but you made the world better. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Before the Rise. I will see you guys all on the next episode. If there is any comments, please do interact with me. Again, you guys can follow me on Spotify and on YouTube at Before the Rise Podcast. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, week, and time, and I will see you guys.